It's very rare I go out to eat and have something so good that it changes my brain to the point where I have to figure out how to make it so I can show people how to make it. And I recently went to China and I found that thing. This is a noodle dish that is so beautifully simple and perfect in every possible way. From a textural standpoint, a flavor standpoint, it's visually striking. There's a lot of names for them, but the general name is Chongqing style noodles. And I gotta say, I'm pretty proud of how this turned out. I would argue it's pretty close, if not identical, to what I had when I was in Xi'an, China. We traveled all over China and we kept seeing these noodles over and over and over. This is a noodle dish with chili oil and Sichuan peppercorn. It's just like spicy and fragrant and umami. And it is the #1 ultimate most perfect chili garlic noodle you could possibly imagine. All these chili garlic noodles that have gone viral and gotten famous, I even have one of my own, are essentially a derivative of this. So let's make it, shall we? I'm gonna start by making a relatively easy homemade chili oil. Then our caramelized crispy ground pork. From there we'll prep our toppings, boil our noodles, and assemble a beautiful dish. Now before we begin, I'll be using a small array of stainless steel cookware for this recipe, but you can really cook this in anything. I just prefer to use my cookware from today's sponsor, Made In. Their stainless steel clad pans have incredible heat retention. They're 5-ply, they're made in Italy, and they're used by real chefs in some of the greatest restaurants in the world. They're built to last, and with proper care, you'll have them for a long time. I've personally been cooking with their stuff for over 6 years, long before they were a sponsor, shout out. Be sure to check out their stainless collection from Made In by using the link in my description. Now, let's begin. What we're starting with is the base to this noodle dish. It's not the whole noodle dish, but it's the foundation of flavor. So pay close attention. This is a 2-quart sauce pot. 1.5 cups of a neutral tasting oil. That could be vegetable oil or canola oil or avocado oil. Depends on your tax bracket. And 1/2 cup of rapeseed oil. This is actually gonna add a roasty, toasty flavor that is incomparable to anything else. You have to use that. The neutral oil is whatever you want it to be. 10 cloves of whole peeled garlic. Doesn't need to be crushed, leave them whole. And 2 shallots cut in half, skins removed. Finally, 4 star anise, 3 black cardamom pods, and 1 cinnamon stick. Set that to medium heat. You don't want this to burn. You have to be really careful. This is a slow, low process, and you're gonna let this come up to a simmer and then let it gently cook for about 20 to 30 minutes or until the vegetables are deeply caramelized, not burnt, and all that flavor's been released. Now, once that's done, you have to strain all of your veg out through a fine mesh metal strainer into a heat-proof bowl. Oh, it smells so good. I mean, it smells like sweet, like cinnamon, star anise, but also that rich garlickiness, the black cardamom, and even the shallot. I mean, they're all coming together. Now, I know we just strained this, but you're gonna put it back in the pot. And now you're gonna heat this up over medium heat until it reaches 350 degrees Fahrenheit, or 176 Celsius. Really important, you gotta get to the right temp. Now, the dry spice mix that you're gonna pour your hot flavored oil into. Sichuan chili flakes. You can get them at local Asian markets. I got these from Mala Market. These are the best Sichuan chili flakes I've found to get to America, if I'm being honest. 2/3 of a cup of that. I mean, look how red this is. It's insane. 2 teaspoons of ground red Sichuan peppercorn. That's the numbing spice. You could omit this, but the numbing spice is part of what makes this Sichuan style. It's also what happens to be in a lot of the chili oils in China. 1.5 tablespoons of kosher salt. I want this to be salty. Okay, salty boy. I don't want any of that flavorless chili oil. Speaking of flavor, 2 teaspoons MSG. And finally, 1 tablespoon of sugar to balance things out. 1 tablespoon of toasted sesame seeds for a little crunch. All right, whisk all that together. Look at that. And now it's ready to receive said hot oil. Once your oil reaches 350 degrees Fahrenheit, immediately pour your hot oil over your chili mixture. Be careful because it will sputter, so proceed with caution. Once all that's added, whisk to combine, you're then gonna add 1 tablespoon of Chinese black vinegar. Be careful because this will steam up and could also burn your hands, so make sure you have some distance from the bowl. Most of that actually is gonna boil out in there. But what that does is add a touch of tang, but more importantly, it dissolves the salt, the sugar, the MSG, etc. Oh yeah. Once it's at room temp, you can store it in an airtight container in your fridge until ready to use, or you can use it immediately. Meat. The thing I was shocked by in China was the price of some of these noodle dishes. We're talking like sub $1, 50 to 80 cents for noodles with chili oil and all sorts of stuff, and a little bit of meat. They obviously use the economical choice, which is ground meat. It's not gonna be like perfectly sliced pork belly every time. I like the ground meat version because I think everybody can enjoy it. So we have a large 12-inch skillet. I'm gonna add a touch of spray oil. You could also drizzle oil in there, but I want a thin veneer because this is very high fat ground pork. 1 pound of ground pork has been heated to medium high, hence the sound. And you're just gonna kind of press it out. No seasoning yet, just pork. You wanna really make sure this adheres to the bottom of the pan. Think of it like a giant smash patty. I want 1 solid Maillard. So I'm gonna let this sear for 2 to 3 minutes. While that's searing, I wanna talk about something. fat content in ground pork. Normally you're gonna see like 85% lean. 80% is doable, but if you can find something fattier like 70%, this is gonna be, in my opinion, noticeably better. So just letting you know. Then after about 2 minutes, when you flip it, got a nice little Maillard already going. Now this is the secret to getting it super duper fine. This little thing. Keep it at medium high, and you can use a spatula, you can use a mashed potato masher. You're just gonna kind of mash that up as finely as you can. If your pork wasn't high fat enough, you could add oil, butter, or even lard to get it a little richer and also crispier. Continuing to cook it over medium-high heat for about 3 to 4 minutes, continuously mashing occasionally. Then once it's fine to your liking, and it starts to sort of sizzle like this, right? Everything's cooked at this point, but all the fat is rendering out and crisping this up. I want this to crisp up for another 1 to 2 minutes, stirring occasionally. You'll know it's done when you have these little diamonds of crispy crunchy. You can hear it popping. There's almost 50% crispy morsels and 50% fine ground meat. That is a good place to be. Now, at this stage, medium heat, you're gonna sprinkle in 1.5 tablespoons of sugar and 3 to 4 tablespoons of soy sauce. Give that a stir. Toss that a few times to coat fully. And then you're just gonna cook that down until it becomes a nice little glaze on the pork. About another minute or two. Cut off the heat. And then you're gonna add 3 to 4 cloves of finely chopped garlic. I want this to be garlicky. And then just gently stir that in. And that is your pork. When that gets mixed in with your noodles, you're gonna go, whoa. So let's move on. The one thing I noticed in Xi'an is that they always had their little station of toppings with all sorts of different things. And the number one thing that they add to almost every single dish is garlic water. And I thought, what the hell is that? It's literally exactly what it sounds like. You're gonna take fresh, peeled garlic cloves and grate them until you have about 2 tablespoons of garlic paste. Then to that, you'll add 4 tablespoons of water. Now what you have is this sort of garlicky, fragrant garlic water. Then about a half cup of roughly chopped toasted peanuts and about 1 cup of thinly sliced green onion. It's noodle time. What kind of noodles should you be using? Spaghetti? Fettuccine? Seek medical help if that's what you do. Please. Really, you could technically use any wheat noodle. All right, I won't judge you too hard. But if you really want to go traditional, these specific Chongqing style noodles are the kind you're looking for. They're very similar to straight ramen noodles. They come fresh, you can order them online, but also any straight wheat noodle should work. So I've got about a half, maybe 3/4 of a pound of noodles for 1 bowl. You could do a little less. You could do a half pound of noodles. You do a 1/4 pound of noodles. Point is, pick your noodle. You got your toppings. Boil your noodle. These take 1.5 to 2 minutes because they're fresh. Dried ones may take longer. Follow the package directions. Now, the other thing that's important to know, it's not a mandatory thing, but a lot of places will do this in China where they have like a pot of broth or water or something to the side that's simmering and hot that they add to the bowls. And you can get the noodles either more dry or less dry. Obviously, less dry or more wet would be with broth. And if you want them really dry, you could put no broth at all and just do the toppings. With our noodles boiled, we are now ready to plate. So to a large serving bowl, add a generous ladleful of your chili oil. You can add as much or as little as you want. Maybe taste it beforehand so you don't burn your mouth off because it's a little hot. Followed by a tablespoon or 2 of garlic water, ground green Sichuan peppercorn or red if that's all you have, sesame paste to your liking. I put in about 2 teaspoons, a small handful of toasted peanuts, a small handful of thinly sliced green onion, heated chicken stock to your liking. Then lay in your fresh cooked noodles, top with your ground pork, more chili oil, peanuts, green onion, serve and enjoy. Mother of God. I gotta say, we fucking nailed this Nailed. Bar none. Knocked it out of the park. Ooh, got a little kick to him. I'll tell you right now, there's probably very, very, very few recipes on the internet of this style of noodle that actually taste somewhat accurate. And I'm gonna stand on 10 toes and say this tastes as authentic, as good as the stuff that I had traveling all over China. It's like bringing me back. I feel like I'm sitting on those tiny tables with the little stools, eating noodles and drinking Tsingtao. Have a little sip of that, ice cold. I need one next to this, and I need a homie to help me finish these noodles. This is unbelievable. Let's forget the noodles for a second. The intense flavor, the unbelievable, nutty, fragrant, almost sweetness from the Sichuan chili flakes, and then that light numbing spice, that herbaceousness from the Sichuan peppercorn, and then the umami, the MSG, the pork. I mean, god damn. This is one of those things that remind you like, wait a minute, top of the food chain in the world of cuisines around the world, China is up there, dude. Good Lord. And now you know how to make it. You can do it at home. It doesn't take that long. And once you make the chili oil, you can make this over and over and over again. This is the gift that keeps on giving. So anyway, love you, subscribe. Bye.